Hello, everyone. We're trying this live thing here. I'm going to, in a second, bring Jeremy in. We had some echo issues here, but because this is live, you're going to hear some background noises. Last night I tried this and the cable broke and I had to replace the cable, so when you're live, it's just kind of really off the cuff here. So anyway, in a second, I'm going to bring Jeremy on. Jeremy is 10 and a half hours ahead of me in my time here. So I better get him on before it's too late, before bedtime. So we'll go right here and see if we can bring him in. Hello, Jeremy. How are you?
Oh, hello from China.
So I think the echo is gone there now, Jeremy?
A little bit there, but it's manageable.
It's okay, eh? So anyway, I'm happy that you came on. There's been a lot of water under the bridge since we got together before, last time. And I believe, I retired and you went on to bigger and better things, right? So, like I said, you're 10 and a half hours ahead of me. Now, you weren't always ahead of me, but with the time frame, you're ahead. So, I'm very.
Harley's always ahead.
What'd you say?
I said Harley's always ahead.
Harley, yes. So here we go. We're going to start the Harley and the Spider thing. I ride a Spider and he rides a Harley, and he wanted to know if I had skis on the front of the thing so I could bring it up the country when the snow starts flying here too. So, but when we drove across Canada, I had some rope in the back of my trunk just in case I had to pull him to either a gas station or a repair shop. But he was able to make it all the way down by himself, and we had a great time. Every day we were on the road, 7 days, I believe you were, and I was 8 days because I left a day earlier and went to Lloyd and waited for you. And that's where we crossed over. And every day I had the camera going, and so 10 hours of footage. And when I was going to go through this and put the footage together, man, I had so much, eh? And this ride that we did was back in 2018. And I think not once a month, but every so often, Jeremy would say, "How's that bike trip going? And when are you going to put it up on a video so we can see it?" And it's taken this amount of time. There's a lot of footage. The actual video itself is probably an hour, I think 55 minutes. So it should be interesting, actually. And we'll do some commentary. I'll stop and we'll do some talking, and we'll get through this. As I said before, there's a backstory to this, and there's an incident that I was involved in that I was very fortunate to be here doing this, and I captured that on video. So. And like most times when you're on a camera, the camera doesn't do justice of the picture, and the camera didn't do justice of what was going on here either. But you'll see it as it goes. I slowed the movie down a little bit so you can actually see what took place there. So we'll get into that. So we'll talk about the backstory a little bit here now. This all started because back in 2008, Earl and Bev Adams had a son who rode motorcycle. And prior to 2008, Earl and his son Patrick wanted to take a ride from Fort McMurray down to Newfoundland, to Clarenville. And there was an accident that took place. I think Patrick got cut off, Jeremy, by a logging truck or something. Can you remember that around that story?
No, all I know about it is that the pack got killed on the bike, and I didn't ask too many questions
Yeah.
because brings up memories for myself. So.
Yes, that's right. You had a brother that was involved in a bike accident as well, right? And that's one thing with riding bike, you just got to watch everybody around you and think that anybody that's coming towards you, other than another biker, that, you got to keep out of their way, and they're bigger than you are, and a lot of things can't be avoided. So it's a little nervous riding bike. But like I said, as I'm going through this commentary here, I rode bike now since, I don't know, back in the 80s. I had my bike license. And Jeremy, you rode about, you've been on bikes forever. And I said in one of the video on one of the clips that, it doesn't take long to know when you're riding a bike with a partner if that partner is experienced or not. And one of the things I quickly found out that Jeremy knows how to ride bike, and I felt very comfortable with him on the trip. And there's no second guessing. One real good thing is that he knew where we were headed for, and even if we got mixed up anyway, we were going to meet up again, in the next stop. And I think the whole trip went really well, Jeremy, with us driving.
Oh, yeah, it was even a little bit into the night was good. The only issue where somebody went the wrong way was
Yeah.
the toll. Go back.
You know that I drove down in truck twice or three times and made the same error. So it takes me a long time to learn my mistakes, I can tell you. But it was in Quebec, and we were driving down Highway 30, right? And but the one thing with on bike, I bypassed the toll gate. He had to pay, so he waited for me for hours, I think. And one of the clips I say, "Oh, I've been waiting for you for a minute now. Like, come on, let's get going, right?" So anyway, let's go back to this backstory here with Earl and Patrick. At the celebration for Patrick, somebody handed Earl a little story on a piece of paper about dragonflies. And the story goes, if I can remember it correctly, the story goes that a dragonfly, the larva, is in the water, and then as they mature, they get to the surface, and then the dragonfly flies away. And so this was going on, and all the larvae, the story goes, as they were talking to each other, saying, what happened to Fred? What happened to Mike? And where are they all going? And they're not coming back. And the fact is that the dragonfly, after he left the water, he came back to the water, but he didn't want to go back in the water. And so that was a little story that was passed to Earl. Sometime later, Earl was with his family, and they were sitting around on the deck, and in the deck there was a tree, and outside of the deck there was a bunch of water. And as they were talking, Earl kind of forgot about that story. It was something somebody passed him. Up come from the water a bunch of dragonflies, and they swarmed the tree. And everybody was amazed, like, oh man, look at all the dragonflies. We've never seen this before. And so anyway, Earl remembered the story. And he got an impression that Patrick was saying, hey man, all's okay. We're good. no worries. And so what happened was that Earl had made a promise, like I said, that they were going to drive across Canada. And he decided to do that. And him and he set up a little, like a couple of guys were going to leave. And by the time they got to Port aux Basques, I think there was 18 or so bikes that crossed over the ferry to the island. And when they got into Port aux Basques, there was a big contingency of people and vehicles, and it was like, man, this is a good thing. They all went to Clarenville. They celebrated it. It was a ride for Patrick. And Earl said that it went over so good that in 10 years he was going to do it again, and that's brought us up to 2018. And I believe there was 24, 25 people that were interested in taking the trip, and we were going to do it in July. And what happened was in June, Earl had an injury and he couldn't ride, so he decided to call it off. But Jeremy and myself, we had the plans made. We were coming anyway. I think Jack Littler was another fella. Him and his buddy, they were going to do the same thing. So there was probably just 4 bikes that went. But this is the trip, and we'll put that together here, and I'll show that. Now, another thing that we all bought T-shirts or hoodies. So I don't know if I can show you that hoodie here now. Just a second. Well, I think there was 80 or 90 hoodies. So this was going to be a real good venture with a whole bunch of bikes, and we were going to leave Fort McMurray. Some were going to go down through the States, and some were going to head to the island. And Jeremy, I believe you left the island after and drove back through the U.S. back up to Fort McMurray, correct?
Correct. Back to Edmonton. Yeah, I went through stateside.
You
By myself.
Yeah. You did. He went faster too because he wasn't dragging the spider around. So anyway, let's get into this. I'll play the video. Jeremy and I will be up top talking. The other thing too is I'm going to try and put some chat up. So like this is streaming on, I don't know, 6 or 7 pages, 3 or 4 platforms. And so if you're listening, and like I said, Jeremy's 10 hours ahead, or 10 and a half hours ahead. There's people, his family are in Alberta. So, and it's almost, it was 11:15 here now. So we'll play the video. So like I said, Jeremy, don't be up too late, So let's
I'm off. I'm off tomorrow.
So this part is the story that that happened, and this is Patrick here, and he's a young fellow. He's only 20 years old, eh? And it's too bad. Can you imagine the shock and the horror and the family went through? And same with Jeremy. Jeremy was a young fellow, and his brother had an accident on a bike, and it just set you right back, eh? So this dragonfly, and I got another picture in there of a dragonfly. Earl just happened to be out work one day, and this dragonfly came by and approached him and sat on his finger. And he was at home, just going into the house, and this dragonfly came over and landed on his finger. He sent this to me, and he he said, like, maybe it's Patrick all the time saying, hey, you know, things are okay, not to worry. I don't want to come back to the water and get with the rest of the larvae, which would be us now. So anyway, this is my mobile. And like I said, I towed the trailer there behind me so I could have some rope just in case Jeremy broke down. So anyway, let's get going here.
Don't forget who got the better mileage.
Oh, I talked about that. So anyway, we left Fort McMurray, and that's the welcome to Fort McMurray. And day one is when I left Fort McMurray and drove to Lloydminster. Oh, that's just about the halfway point to Lloydminster. That was in St. Paul, right? Jeremy, this is the first time you've seen this video, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to that Husky restaurant there and wait for Jeremy to meet up with me. And then we're going to head to Regina, and that's where we're going to stay tonight. Jeremy is finally coming. And we left Lloyd then and went to Regina. So the one thing, Jeremy, about the countryside, is all across Canada, and anybody ever traveled across Canada would say, you know, right from BC right to Newfoundland, the scenery is just unreal. And you notice. before, we're just right in front of a weather front. So the one thing with the weather front, I had a radar on my bike, or on my phone actually, it was an app, and we stayed between two fronts, right? We got a little wet in Winnipeg, but we got out of the rain, and there was another one in front of us that we ran into. So, but two things here. It's good to have that radar, and the other thing is, Jeremy, you had an application or an app on your phone that when we set this route out, you knew almost to the minute where we were going to stay and where we should book. And he come into the office there a couple of times during lunchtime, and said, "Hey, here are our stops. This is where we're going to stay overnight." And he had it all mapped out to the minute. And same when you went back to the U.S. route, you did the same thing with that app. It's a good thing. Two good things to have when you're traveling, especially by bike, because you want to stay away from the weather, and you want a place that, you know, when you get in and you're tired after all day, that you're actually going to have a good place to stay, right?
Yeah, that app I use is it's called En Route,
Yeah,
and once when I found it and started using it, it's so easy and it gives you everything that you need to do on the road.
yeah, yeah. And, but as we go south here now, we're going to lose that. The weather front is keeping going north of us. And then I think we're clear then all the way through, right to Kenora. It'll be blue skies. The temperature now is showing 20 degrees. Good riding right now. There is another weather front in front of us, and but I think that's in Ontario right now. So as long as we stay in the middle of this thing, those two the fronts, we should have good riding weather all the way through. Right now, we're at a little place called Worsley, and that's just outside of Winnipeg, or Regina. Anyway, it's good. Everything is good. So I'll try to make another update a little later here. Okay, bye-bye. So the scenery starts changing again here now. We're in Brandon, Manitoba here now. Not too far from Winnipeg, I guess, and we're going around Winnipeg, and then we'll head up to Kenora. We got 435 kilometers to go from here. And my buddy Jeremy, he likes that music going. some of that scenery here is like parts of Newfoundland. Every time we get in Ontario, northern Ontario, you kind of say, well, you're excited about getting travel. Jeremy, can you hear me now? You just sent me a text in a second ago about you couldn't hear me. So.
Yeah, the video is louder than you, and he can't hear you.
Oh, okay. So I'll try to turn the music down a little bit. You tying yourself on, are you? Just in case you fall off or what? So what were you doing there, Jeremy?
I think I was my plug in there for the phone charge. So my phone is mounted on my handlebars, and it plugs in there to go into the Bluetooth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I actually thought you wanted me to hook the rope on there. But
No.
I think the worst road, not the worst road, but for speed wise, Ontario has got 90 kilometers an hour on their highways, and everywhere else across Canada is 100 or 110. And it takes a little bit to get used to it. Over the years, I got a few citations coming through there by going 105 or something like that, but it's just one of them things.
Yeah, it was such good riding weather.
Yeah, we stayed right in the middle of that those two low fronts, and it paid off until we got in Ottawa, I think, from there on. thing that's a pain on that Spider is that the fuel tank is underneath, or the cap for the fuel tank is underneath the seat. So in order for me to fill up, I had to take most everything off the bike and then fill up again. And like Jeremy talked about, the number of stops. One thing with Jeremy's bike is that you were getting what, 511 kilometers per fuel?
Yeah, I was getting, each one was over 400, 450, and I think the best was, I think it was around 6 on the bike.
That is awesome. I was half that. So what would happen is I'd stop, fill up. Jeremy would have something to eat, have a smoke break. We'd get on, we'd go to the next gas station, and he'd wonder if he should actually fill up again, but he wasn't sure. And so to appease me, he'd fill up with me, and it was like every second one, he was putting gas in his tank. So it was a big difference. I was talking to my brother, he said there's lots of smoke up around this way. Yeah. No, I gotta keep filled. Where I'm towing the load there, he can get another 100 clicks on me. So I gotta keep full all the time. That's more like 200. Yeah, I don't know what pump it is actually.
It's 11:59.
That's it, yeah.
Yep.
And I'll have a receipt after, please.
Sure, man. How's the ride been so far?
Oh, awesome. It's too awesome. I burnt all the pieces.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. You're not going out 17, are you?
Huh?
You're not going to, let's go up to the highway.
Dave, you do company? Yeah, here.
So let's go up to the highway, or Trans-Canada, right?
Yeah, this falls right into it.
Yeah, it's a long route though to get there.
Have a safe trip, guys.
If we go back to that overpass there, down under that roundabout, and then head up, you'll head up right to the highway.
Will you?
Yes, this one will wind in around. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna stop at Thunder Bay probably for a bite to eat here. I think we're good till then anyway. It's been a good drive so far. A lot of trucks, and we met quite a few bikes, people traveling the same as what I'm doing, and it's a good way to travel. Jeremy is, when he's done down to Newfoundland, he's going to head back to Alberta on his bike, and he's going to go through the U.S. So he's doing a across Canada and across U.S. tour. So it's good to have somebody with you when you're traveling, especially someone like him who he understands how to ride, and he knows where he's going. So it's always good to have company who understands things like that. So anyway, this is it for now. We went down around 17 instead of going up on 11, and the lake shore, the side of the lake was, there was a lot of, we could have stopped lots of times, Jeremy? And took some pictures, but it was just nice.
Yeah, it was a great ride. If we got a few pictures, but if we had to stop everywhere, we would never have made the boat.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I remember this place.
Yeah, yeah. You notice mine bike was outside, and someone had to put the Harley, hide it away so that the rain wouldn't melt it. So anyway, I mentioned about the other two chaps that left. They were a day ahead of us, and this is Jack Littler, and I think his son is there, and his buddy. They ran into some issues on the way, and I believe they only went so far as Barrie, and they stayed there, and we carried on. So, but that's who we were coming with in the first place, him and a bunch more actually. Good morning. We are just leaving Petawawa, and we're heading down to the south side of Montreal, a place called Deglessy. We should arrive there in 10 or 12 hours. Rain and showers along the way, and sunshine. And the humidity is so hot here. It's on. Anyway, going to get going. We're going to have a good trip. We didn't get in until late last night. We're on the road a little too late, I think, just because it was dark, and had to watch, for traffic and moose and deer and everything else. So anyway, I'll chat at you later. Another Harley that just passed us there, Jeremy. Heading.
Oh, it looked like a spider towing a trailer.
think that's the kind of music you listen to, isn't it? You know, that real country music.
When it comes on.
This is where you've waited an hour or more for me.
Yeah, you do know that
I've been
that
waiting for you, like,
toll
for a minute now.
only cost me $3.
I texted you and said, I'll see you at the boat, because I thought you would have went on, but I'm glad you waited for me. Oh, the joys. What a ride. Just came down from Petawawa and we struck the lower portion of the system and ended up with some rain. Not a bad rain, it's just a nuisance rain because it stops and goes, but in the last half hour we've been in it quite a bit. We stopped for a bite to eat, fill up the tank, and then the rain started. So I put on my jacket, so did Jeremy, and it was pretty wet for the last half hour. Now it seems to be petering out a little bit, so we should be okay. We're right at the Quebec border here. And we're going to turn on Highway 30, which skirts Montreal to the south side. There's a toll gate there. It's a pretty fast route around there, actually. So we're going to be hitting that soon. And we'll talk at you later. We had some time to kill when we got closer to North Sydney, and so we decided to go in around and look at some of the countryside too. That's one thing was the construction age, Jeremy. That was not too bad, eh? All the way through.
No, it was actually pretty good. You hear that beautiful sound, right, Elwin?
Yeah. But that was coming from my bike because the mic was close to it. There's one thing you can never trust people driving, whether they got their single lights on or not, especially on bike. It's just, you don't take any second guessing or chances. You got to, when the opportunity to move, you got to move. And throughout the ride, there's always distractions that you got to deal with. Nova Scotia is no different. There's a reason why I left the camera here for such a long time, because I want to show you something in a minute. You watch these girls as they take off. They form in that angle so that the rider in front will see the road, one behind will see the road, and the next set of traffic or the next set of bikes would be in angle to that. So the third bike would be right in line with that first bike, and the fourth bike would be in line with the second bike. And there's a reason for doing that, is so that everybody can see the road and see each other. I've been on a few rides and with people, and you can't see in front because they're there. You move over, they move over, you try to get back to the side again, and so the formation is very important when you're riding bike. And like I said about Jeremy and his skills riding, that was never an issue. If he was out by the line, I was in by the road and by the shoulder, and we switched back and forth when we needed to do that. So it's good. And right away you know if a driver is experienced or not by doing that.
There's that beautiful sound again, Elwin.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I thought I had my camera off here for the most part, but I guess it must have stayed on. Just to listen to the sound, Jeremy. So excitement is building a little bit now as we get close to Nova Scotia. So. I think anybody that travels across Canada, once they get to Nova Scotia, it seems like a little bit of a reprieve. This is in North Sydney here now. We're getting ready to go down to the ferry. You went to CBS and I stopped off at Springdale as we start driving, correct? So I bid Jeremy good day there, and he passed me along the way, and I think we caught up when we got back to Fort McMurray. And I talked about the incident. When I got close to Corner Brook, you'll see what took place, and I'll tell you why. the grain. Because by the time we got to know where I got the spring on it was stopped by the other thing. We'll put that on a replay. Do it again. Now, what happened is if you in Newfoundland and you're riding a trike or a spider or something with three wheels, even a car with four wheels, you see the ruts on the side of that's full of water. I think somebody took a little video of somebody in a canoe that was actually in those ruts of water. Now, I wasn't experienced with this at all. If you're on a two-wheel bike, you got one line to deal with. On a trike or on a spider, you got two lines to deal with, or three actually. And I did a hydroplane here. I just about lost it. I think, other than Peggy praying for me and making sure that I was going to make it home okay, if I didn't have the experience of riding that I did, I would have lost it there. And like I said, the camera doesn't really do a whole lot of justice to what actually took place there. My two front tires came off the road, and then my back tire went into the rut, and I was just swaying back and forth there. And that trailer being heavy, could have really turned over actually. this is one of the nicest areas, I believe, in my opinion anyway, on the island. But when it's raining and like this, cloudy, you can't, it doesn't do justice about how nice it is, excuse me, coming through here. Especially, oh my, especially in the fall when the trees are turning, it's just gorgeous coming through this old valley here. I tell you, I was pretty careful driving from then on after that that happened, man. I slowed down. I watched I stayed trying to stay out of the water and the ruts. It's just. There was another time Peggy and I went to I don't know Howley or Cornerbrook, and it was raining. We just stopped on the road because that petrified me about the hydroplaning. Like I said, I rode bike for years, and I was in some really heavy rainfalls, but on that Spider in Newfoundland, my goodness, man, the roads are so bad when it's raining. I think, Jeremy, you got home about the same time as I did, because I just slowed down. And this is coming down through Springdale here now.
What time was that, Elvin?
I'd say one-ish, probably a 1 or 1:30. You'll hear my response to this ride when I get at the house.
Yes, right on, brother.
So anyway, I think I'll just get these off here. That one and this one. So it was a good experience, I think, my bud. I think it was an awesome trip, and I certainly appreciate you coming along with me. I'll tell you. So
Yeah, I really enjoyed the trip. It was, again, I've done California, done Alaska. It's just something going across Canada and hitting Newfoundland on the bike.
Yeah, it is, yes. And like we went back a long ways when we started out working together, and you know, we became peers, and then be able to, you know, come on a trip like this with your co-worker. I thought that was just one of the better things that I've done. I've drove there a couple of times on bike, and but I think I enjoyed this one as much or more than any other trip. And I got to apologize to you, Jeremy, for the fact of you know, taking so long to put it together and that kind of stuff, because it has been a while, 2018, but it's up there now. So we
Yeah. It is what it is, but I'll tell you what, watching the video right now,
yeah.
and I didn't get 1 kilometer on my bike this year.
Yeah, that's true. You'll pay for that next year.
That's one thing I was looking forward to, is because it brings back great memories, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
being overseas and missing it all, and by watching the video, it just makes me want to get back on so bad.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm gonna run here, and I certainly appreciate you tuning in and being a part of this. It wouldn't have been. I didn't really want to do it without you. So, and
I appreciate the invite.
yeah. All right, we'll call it a day, and you. I know it's up past your bedtime now. Like, I mean, it must be 9 o'clock there for sure, eh?
Like I said, I'm not working tomorrow.
Right on. Okay, my bud. We'll chat at you later then.